Two communities, thirsty for blood for years, hatred so deep that even thinking of mercy was a crime. In the midst of this fire, an innocent child Wahad is born who takes the message of love to the enemy camp. Can an ignorant child stop that river of blood? Can humanity prevail over hatred? This is not just a story. This is a truth that will tear your heart apart and leave tears in your eyes. In the darkness of hatred, stubbornness should look for the lamp of humanity till the end, because in the end not only stubbornness wins but humanity also wins. In a small village Nakhla near Madinah, where the date palms were the shade and the sound of azan echoed in the warm wind of the desert, an innocent child Zaid was born. Zaid is just 9 weeks old. But there was such a light in his heart that perhaps even an old darvish may not be blessed with. He was an orphan. His parents were killed in a war and he was brought up by an old grandmother. He used to call her Jidda in Hindustan. Two tribes lived in the half of Nakhla, Banu Quraysh and Banu Hashim. There was enmity between them for years. Small fights used to turn into wars. Children were taught from childhood to hate other tribes. Do not sit or eat with them. But Jid was not like that. He had equal love for everyone in his heart. He would polish everyone's shoes in the mosque, bring water, greet the elders. One day Jid was working with his grandmother in the date orchard when he saw a storm rising from a distance. His small eyes were filled with surprise. Jidda, look at that storm. Is Banu Hashim's village burning? Jidda said with trembling lips, "Oh Allah, care. There must have been some fight again. These people will never mend their ways." But Jid's heart became restless. He knew that fire is bad for anyone, even if it is the enemy. By nightfall, the news came that the village of Banu Hashim had indeed been burned. Many people were injured and some children were lost. That very night, Zaid performed ablution. He prayed and looked towards the sky. "O Lord, if you wish, you can guide everyone. I am young. But give me something to do that will unite people." The next day he left his grandmother and set out towards the village of Banu Hashim. He had a few dates, some water and a blanket in his small bag. He kept walking for several hours. The scorching ground of the desert, the hot sun, but Zaid's feet did not tremble. When he reached the village of Banu Hashim, the scene there was heart-wrenching. Burned houses, injured people, crying children. Zaid's heart broke into pieces. He sat down next to an injured old man. "Baba, should I give you water?" The old man looked at him in surprise. "Are you from Banu Quraysh?" Zaid bowed his head and said, "I am just a human being. I have come for Allah." Quote, tears started flowing from the old man's eyes. Zaid gave him water to drink, cleaned his wounds with a sheet. Then he moved towards the other children, started playing with them, made them laugh. A woman came crying, "My child is missing. Can anyone help?" Quote, Zaid said, "I will look for him." He kept searching in the nearby bushes, hills and pits. The sun was about to set. Then he found a small boy lying unconscious under a tree. Zaid picked him up on his knees and brought him to the woman. The woman hugged Zaid and said crying, "Son, you are an angel." Zaid replied, "We are not angels. I am just a man, but a man." Quote, after this day, Zaid started going there every day. Sometimes he would bring something to eat, sometimes he would teach prayers, sometimes he would tell stories for children. The hearts of the people of Banu Hashim began to soften. They began to wonder if there could be such people in Banu Quraysh as well. One day the leader of Banu Hashim called Zaid. "Son, what do you want?" Zaid said, "I want you people to make peace with Banu Quraysh. We are all servants of the same Allah. We don't want hatred, we want love." The Sardar took a deep breath. "This is not easy, Zaid. There is a very old enmity." Zaid replied, "But the fire that burnt your village, it also burnt my heart. Come, let us extinguish the fire, give coolness to the hearts." These words pierced the heart of the Sardar like a thorn. He kept thinking for a long time at night. Here, there were talks among Banu Quraysh too. Zaid has won the hearts of Banu Hashim. Can he show us the path of peace too? Then a day came when both the tribes met in a tent on the request of Zaid. Zaid was standing in the middle. The chiefs of both sides, old and young, all were present. Zaid raised his hand and said, "O Allah, be martyrs, your servants have come today to bury the enmity." We are all martyrs of your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are friends. Hatred never stops us. On this day, both the chiefs hugged each other and asked for forgiveness. Tears started flowing from the eyes of the people. For the first time, the lamp of peace was lit in the sky of Nakhla. When Zaid's grandmother heard this, she fell in prostration. O Allah, give my son the status that united your creatures. Zaid's village was situated in a beautiful but war-torn area. The lands here were once green and fertile. But many years of war had destroyed these lands. The people of the village were fighting for their rights. And the enemy had come close to the borders of the village. This area was a place where two different communities were living as enemies of each other. On the other hand, the family of Zaid's parents was always with the Muslims and they always struggled to protect their beliefs. Zaid's heart was immersed in the service of humanity. Whenever he helped someone, there was a light in his eyes as if he was always with us. He was achieving some big victory. One day news came in the village that a squad of the enemy army had reached near the village. This news spread a wave of fear among the villagers. They ran. Many families left their homes and started going towards the city, but Zaid's heart was somewhere else. He decided that he would help these people who were fighting with the enemy. Because he understood that there is no permanent solution to war and for the welfare of humanity, he had to do something without caring about his life. His parents explained to him again and again that joining hands with the enemy was not only against their principles but it could also put the village's livelihood in danger. But Zaid prevented our village's livelihood from getting in danger. He was determined to listen to his heart. One night when there was an atmosphere of fear in the village and everyone was worried about saving their lives, Zaid secretly traveled towards the border area of the village. He knew that this route was very dangerous, but his intentions were clear. The convoy of the village's enemies was very close and he thought that if he removed them, they would return to their village. If he did not stop them, more innocent people would be killed. He reached the enemy's camp and as soon as he came close and saw their soldiers, his heart skipped a beat. These were the soldiers about whom the villagers always talked, whose faces had marks of hatred and brutality. But Zaid listened to the voice of his heart and went among them and took a step forward. Assalamu alaikum, he said to them. These soldiers looked at him angrily. But Zaid's eyes had that unflinching faith which only those who love with true heart have. Zaid said to them, I know that you hate the people of the village. But have you ever thought where all that is happening will take us? Are we not human beings? Is it not our duty to help each other? One of the soldiers who was very angry pushed Zaid, but another soldier stopped him. Little child, we cannot listen to you. You are coming in our way. Don't try. But Zaid said to them, I want to help you. I know that your heart is open. But if we all leave our hatred, then we can all serve humanity together. There was so much depth in his words that some soldiers became silent and a soft corner was created in their hearts. The debate continued throughout the night in the enemy camp and during this time Zaid shared his thoughts with them. He knew that this was the most important moment of his life. The next morning Zaid decided that he would go with those soldiers and show them the truth of what the path of humanity is. He knew that this step of his could be a shock for the villagers. But his heart was pure. He had decided to make the biggest sacrifice of his life. There was only one purpose behind this: eliminating hatred and moving forward with humanity. The moment Zaid entered the enemy camp, he knew that his actions would be decisive for his life. He had become a nuisance for the villagers and an unloved personality for the enemy soldiers. But he had a strong feeling in his heart that he was fighting for humanity. He was moving towards truth and justice, which was to bring him closer to his destination. That night he felt an unusual silence in the enemy camp. The enemy soldiers were shocked by his presence. Zaid felt that there was a wave of hatred in their hearts. But he had a light of hope inside him which he had always kept in his heart. He found a strength within himself that he could reach out to these people who were immersed in the darkness of hatred. Zeid expressed his views clearly. He said, "We are all humans. We all have love and sympathy for Allah in our hearts. If we follow it, we can end hatred and we will not need war." These words were so true and effective that many soldiers listened to him seriously. Some of them had doubts and suspicions in their hearts that maybe he could do something better. But he was a man of the rules of his community. Still, Zeid's words had an impact on them. The next morning, Zeid took another step into the enemy camp. He decided that he would establish a good relationship with these soldiers so that they could be inspired on the path of humanity. His only aim was to end the war, and he knew that his message would prove true one day. This action was a challenge not only for the enemies but also for the village. The people of the village were doubting his loyalty. He had told his parents and the elders of the village that he was ready to follow that path, and this was a big shock for them. But Zeid listened to his heart and resolved to follow this path. He made plans to improve the area by joining hands with the enemy so that people of both communities could build their future together. These plans included water access, health facilities, and establishment of educational institutions. When Zeid started to join hands with the enemy, he had to face an unjust opposition. Some people of the village who were unhappy with his moves started opposing him. They called Zeid a fool and raised their voice against him. One day when Zeid returned to the village, he faced his friends and loved ones. They questioned him on his decision. "Zeid, you left your people. You stepped on our land by joining hands with the enemies," his sister said, crying. Zeid listened to them with patience. But he had a firm belief that whatever he was doing was for humanity. "I did not deceive anyone. I want peace in our village and an end to war. We are all destined to flourish with humanity, not hatred and murder." Zeid's answer forced the people of the village to think. Some people paid heed to his words and supported his decision. But some were still against him. This situation strengthened Zeid even more, and he knew that this path would not be easy. But he was ready to make every sacrifice to prove his truth. Zeid's faith was so strong that he joined hands with his enemies and started various developmental plans in the village. His efforts slowly started bringing a positive change in the village. The enemies appreciated Zeid's humanity and his thoughts, and together with him they did many such works which were beneficial for the village. The enemies showed the villagers that they were not just here for war but to make their lives better. This change brought a new hope in the village, and people started working together. This change was possible because of the sacrifices of Zeid. His passion and sacrifices showed the village a new path, where love replaced hatred. People started to see that the path they were walking on was not for them. And Zeid's efforts made them understand the true reality of humanity. Zeid had clearly stated his purpose: end of hatred and victory of love. The impact of his message started increasing among the enemy soldiers. One day when Zeid was present in the enemy camp, he sat with them and told his story to those soldiers. He said, "We are all humans who are connected with one thing. Whether we belong to different communities, languages, or colors. Allah made us different so that we can understand each other and help each other. If we leave hatred and follow the path of love, we can bring such a revolution in the world which will have no parallel." His words had so much power that many of the enemy soldiers were influenced by his words. Some of these soldiers were immersed in hatred in the past. Now a new passion was arising in their hearts. They started appreciating the efforts of Zeid for humanity and started trying to convey his message to their comrades. This act of Zeid had become a big test for the village. There were people in the village who were still doubting his loyalty. Zeid's parents and other elders had a fear in their hearts that if they joined hands with the enemies of their community, it could prove dangerous for them. But Zeid always defended his decision and said, "My brother, we all have the same destiny. Only if we help each other, we will be able to build a better world. The path of hatred never brings happiness to anyone. These words of Zaid were forcing many people of the village to think. Doubts and fears had arisen in their hearts. But at the same time, some people also came forward in his support. Those people who were influenced by Zaid's sacrifices decided to work with him. Zaid's sacrifices started bearing fruit. Many officials of the enemy army took his words seriously. One day Zaid met the enemy commander. He could not succeed in his objective. The commander said to Zaid, "There is truth in your words, Zaid. But we had started this war to protect our people. The appearance of a person like you who is giving us the message of humanity is a blow to us." Zaid replied, "We are all humans. Commander Sahab, there is your community and my community. Both have the same pain in their hearts. There is no benefit of war for all of us. We have to end our differences and unite with each other to end this pain." The commander thought about Zaid's words for a few moments. Then he said, "Maybe you are right. Zaid, maybe we should choose the path of love instead of hatred." After this day, the commander ordered his soldiers to work with Zaid on plans for the development of the area. He knew that the decision would be important for his future. Zaid, along with the enemies, started many important plans for the development of the area. The most important among them was the plan to supply water. The army, along with Zaid, started working to give life to the dry rivers of the area again. This was an initiative that created a new hope in the hearts of the people of the village. Apart from that, Zaid also tried to improve the health condition. A new hospital was established in the village, where people of both communities got the same treatment despite differences. This hospital had a union of doctors, nurses and other health workers. These sacrifices of Zaid created a new environment where the value of humanity and the spirit of helping each other kept increasing. Zaid's sacrifices were now bearing fruit. His efforts had sent the message of love to the hearts of the enemy soldiers and the villagers. One day both the villagers and the enemy gathered in a field. There was a new eagle in front of Zaid at that time. He was standing at a place where his dream had become a reality. Both the village and the enemy together held a gathering in which the leaders of both communities pledged that they would no longer be enemies of each other. There was a peace in Zaid's heart. His message and his sacrifices had now become the basis for the formation of a new world. The people of the village who were once enemies of each other had now become friends. On this day, Zaid decided to create a revolution in the village. The people of the village who were once enemies of each other were now moving together towards a better future. Zaid's sacrifices and his decision had created such a passion in the hearts of the people that they were now ready to help each other. One day, when a big function was organized in the village, Zaid was invited to be a part of it. The village elders, soldiers and various people of the area participated in the function. Zaid said on that occasion that the destiny of all of us is the same. We are all humans. Our land is one. Our purpose is one. And our love is one. The path we have set foot on is the path of humanity. We have to become a light for each other in the darkness of hatred. His words inspired the people of the village towards a new light. They realized that if they help each other, they will walk on the path of love and peace instead of hatred and war. The impact of Zaid's message was not limited to the villagers. There was a change in the hearts of the enemy soldiers as well. Those who were earlier enemies of the villagers were now influenced by Zaid's message and started working with him. Zaid's sacrifices and his passion created a respect for humanity in their hearts. One day Zaid got a chance to meet the enemy commander. The commander said to Zaid, "Your words have softened our hearts. We always fought in the name of protecting our community, but now we understand that there is no solution to war. There is none. You have shown us the path of humanity and we are ready to walk with you." This statement of the commander was a new beginning. The enemy soldiers had now decided to work for peace instead of war. Zaid's sacrifices had changed their hearts. Zeid, along with the enemy, started many plans for the development of the area. The most important of these plans was to provide water. There was a shortage of water in this area for many years and people were yearning for it. Zeid and the enemy's soldiers together revived the rivers and provided new sources of water. Apart from this, Zeid also did many important things in the field of health. A modern hospital was established in the village, where people of both communities could get free treatment. In this hospital, doctors, nurses and other medical staff together became an example of how humanity can be served with love and harmony. Zeid's message was no longer limited to just one village. The people of the village were no longer enemies of each other. They were together looking for solutions to their problems, and all this was possible due to the sacrifices of Zeid. Zeid said that whatever we have done is only for humanity. I want that when people talk about me, they should say that I did not hate anyone. I worked for love and humanity. His words gave a new weight to the whole area. People are now not only working for love and humanity in their own homes, but they are now working for love and humanity in their own cities. They were working for the progress of the area. In fact, they were ready to spread the message of service to humanity all over the world. This story of Zeid's sacrifices was now moving towards its end. He had accomplished the purpose of his life. He knew that his sacrifices had proved to be a lesson for countless people. He had ended wars. He had ended hatred and spread the message of victory of humanity. One day when Zeid was standing on a hill in his village, he looked towards the sky and said, "Thank God that I have set foot on that path." This path was not always easy. But I knew that there is only one way to serve humanity. Love, respect and sacrifice. Zeid's words were etched in the hearts of the people of the village. They knew that Zeid had spread the message of humanity not only for himself but for the entire area and the world. Zeid's sacrifices had now become a story that would be told from generation to generation. His story was a lesson that love, respect and service to humanity is the path on which the world can be made better. His sacrifices were a victory that would always be remembered. His message had now spread throughout the area and Zeid's dream had become a reality. There was peace in the village. There was love in the hearts of the enemies and every person was ready to serve humanity. In the last moments of his life, Zeid realized that his sacrifices were not in vain. His message will remain alive and its effects will spread across the world. Zeid's story is a lesson that the sacrifices made in the service of humanity never go in vain. He made his dream a reality and by following his path others also created love for humanity in their hearts. He knew that only one person's decision is enough to change the world and that person was himself who devoted his life to humanity. Zeid's story, his sacrifices, his struggle for humanity and the success of his message ends here. He ended hatred. He showed the path of love and peace and set an example of the victory of humanity. His sacrifices will never go in vain and his message will always remain alive. This story is over but its message should always remain alive in your heart. Like the video so that we get more encouragement. Share it with your friends and family so that more people can also learn from this incident. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our new stories. Tell us in the comment what lesson this incident taught you. Lock and you will see our video on the screen. Watch it too and learn something good. See you soon with another new lesson Islamic story.